All right, it is 12 p.m. on the East Coast. And so I believe we should just go ahead and get started here. Thank you so much, everybody who is with us today, both the UAS CTI schools and the schools who aren't part of the UAS CTI anymore, or yet. Sorry, it's already been a long week. We are really, really excited that you are all here to learn about Mentor Connect and to learn about how you can actually get those grants to start your own drone programs or to enhance the ones that you already have. Again, I want to say thank you so much to NCAT, that is the National Centers for Autonomous Technology, for hosting this webinar and also recording it. If you are part of the UAS CTI, this will be posted on the repository, so you can go ahead and check it out there later as well. This meeting will be recorded, and if you've got any questions about the UAS CTI, please don't hesitate to reach out at any point. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to John Beck with NCAT.
Well, thank you very much, Alina, for kicking us off. My name's John Beck. I'm the Executive Director for the National Center for Autonomous Technologies, also known as NCAT, supported by the National Science Foundation ATE program, or Advanced Technological Education, the only NSF program specifically focused on two-year technician education, professional development, advancements of programs, curriculum development, and a lot of other areas that Elaine Kraft, the PI for Mentor Connect, will speak about in this webinar. I'm filling in for Zach Nicklin, co-PI for NCAT and co-chair for the consortia, who was out ill today, so I just got a call this morning. He sent me over a couple of notes, so I'll start there with the housekeeping things. If you'd like to be added to the grants and mentorship opportunities distribution list following this webinar, go ahead and put your email in the chat, and that'll serve as a conduit to make sure we're getting you those follow-up resources to get you connected to the program and different opportunities out there. Following the webinar, we've got a couple of poll questions that'll be integrated, but at the end of the webinar, when you exit the meeting or we close it out, there will be a survey that pops up. If you can complete that survey regarding the information that was received today, that is a huge part of the NSF work, being able to get that response back from the community. That really helps us to identify how we approach different initiatives and the effectiveness of our time and any of those areas that we can continuously improve to serve the community. So please do make sure to fill out that survey. That is super important for the NSF work. When Zach called me this morning and told me he wasn't going to be able to be here, I was actually pretty excited to be able to participate in this webinar, as it's a topic near and dear to my heart. Mentoring. Mentoring's been a foundation for my personal and professional growth. I've been very involved with Mentor Connect. The focus of today's presentation going back almost 10 years ago with cohort 2. That was actually how Northland Community and Technical College got engaged in the NSF work that led us to our first small project grant, $200,000 at the time, into a large project grant, a $600,000 grant proposal, and most recently the National Center for Autonomous Technology, which was awarded 4 years ago. Probably a accelerated timeline to reach that level. But I think the mentoring initiatives, the support that we've got from Elaine Kraft and other leadership throughout the program has been instrumental in shaping that path. And really, when I think about mentoring, I look at it as a powerful tool to cultivate communities of like-minded individuals collectively working together to build capacity and resources available to the community, and supporting individuals and organizations to seek out the resources for continuous program advancement in a collective approach. Last year, we had Elaine present to the UAS CTI. We had 75 schools that attended last year. Of those 75, we had 5 of those schools that submitted applications to Mentor Connect and were accepted into the program as a part of cohort 11, I believe. I believe we're on 12 now, Elaine.
Yeah, getting ready to to bring in the 12.
So it just shows that tremendous growth, which is great for advancing the AT portfolio for autonomous technology and uncrewed systems. There's a lot of different initiatives going on right now throughout the CTI, the Curriculum Development Work Group, the COW or CTI Occupational Work Group, and others that we continue to look how bringing more people into the fold, going after additional resources can really contribute to that collective approach of how we develop resources, reduce duplication of effort, and really leverage the great work across the community. So I'm very excited to have Elaine Kraft here today to present on Mentor Connect, which is really focused on supporting two-year technical institutions in going after grant resources and really becoming a part of the broader community that's moving the dial in technician education. She provides a wealth of knowledge to help support your challenging work as change agents and innovators addressing the impact of advanced technology as it relates to technician education and workforce development initiatives. Elaine's got a passion for serving minority serving institutions and underrepresented communities in technician education, and probably has a wide range of resources to support that as well. But Elaine is a dear friend, colleague, and one of the people that I put in my master mentors category, which there's definitely quite a few throughout the Mentor Connect program. So very happy to have you here today, Elaine, to talk about Mentor Connect, the AT program, and the resources and pathways to get there. With that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Elaine.
Okay, thank you, John. We tease John all the time about being a poster child for Mentor Connect because he has done exactly what we were hoping anyone who works with us will do, which will get engaged with the ATE program, continue to be engaged with the program, and to develop leadership skills, which he has clearly done and demonstrated, which is just the best. So what we want to talk about today is a brief overview of NSF, which stands for the National Science Foundation. Then I will talk about the program within NSF that should be of particular interest to you, the Advanced Technological Education Program, or ATE. Next, I'll show you the ATE funding tracks that have recently been available and which ones may be of particular interest to you. In part 3 of the program, I will talk about Mentor Connect and how it can help you connect with NSF ATE grant funding. In this part of the program, you will also hear from a couple of your UAS CTI colleagues who have been ATE grantees. Finally, I will leave you with a few tips for success in accessing NSF ATE funding to advance your UAS program. The ATE program is led by Dr. Celeste Carter. Before joining NSF, Dr. Carter taught at a community college in California. She is totally awesome and very user-friendly. I'm sure John will agree with me on that.
Absolutely.
The building depicted is the National Science Foundation headquarters in Alexandria, Virginia. So welcome to NSF. It helps to understand the funding agency from whom you are seeking funds. The focus of NSF is STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The agency, however, does not address healthcare, such as medical research or nursing programs. NSF primarily funds basic scientific research. However, research is broadly defined by NSF to include applied research in STEM education, which is what all of the projects that we do in the ATE program more or less fall in that category. Since research at academic institutions is conducted by faculty with the discipline expertise to do the work of the project, NSF expects faculty with the appropriate discipline expertise to be the leaders on NSF grants. NSF refers to project leaders as principal investigators, known as PIs, or co-principal investigators, called co-PIs. NSF uses a merit review process in determining which proposals to fund each year. This system begins with peer review of proposals based on the agency's 2 merit review criteria, intellectual merit and broader impacts. The merit review process at NSF is considered the gold standard among federal funding agencies. All program officers at NSF are STEM professionals. They are interested in hearing about your grant proposal ideas, and they will respond to your inquiries and provide helpful feedback. Grant funding opportunities from NSF are provided multiple ways. The primary mechanism is the solicitation for a program. And ATE is one of those programs that has its own solicitation. NSF program solicitations are typically published for a 3-year time frame. This means that you have considerable advance notice of when proposals are due each year. There are no restrictions regarding when you can communicate with NSF program officers. You may send inquiries during grant development, submission, funding, and implementation stages. The online grants management platform used by NSF is research.gov. It is advisable to use this platform rather than grants.gov to submit NSF grant proposals, since it is the only platform that you can use for grant management and reporting after you receive an award. Within NSF, ATE is a unique program, and as John mentioned, focuses on 2-year colleges and the skilled technical workforce. ATE places an emphasis on technician education and workforce development. The ATE program solicitation states clearly that 2-year colleges must have leadership roles in projects. Associated budget support is expected. ATE projects need to focus on STEM and advanced technology programs. Project partners can include secondary schools and 4-year institutions and other supporting entities. However, the focus of projects should not address STEM broadly or focus on college transfer. ATE is a workforce development program, and technicians that can go immediately into the workforce is of great importance to the ATE program. Partnerships with industry and alignment with workforce and economic development hiring needs are essential. ATE encourages proposal submission and can fund multiple grants simultaneously at a college. With ATE, there's great potential for repeat funding over time. There is no cost sharing required or allowed for ATE grants. Your business office and administration will be very happy to hear this. You have extensive advance notice of when proposals are due, unlike the 90-day turnaround that is prevalent with other federal funding agencies. ATE program officers are very helpful. ATE has created an amazing community among grantees that is mutually supportive. The program also offers support systems such as Mentor Connect to help ensure your success. This slide provides a graphic of current funding tracks within ATE. A new ATE solicitation will be published in 2024, we hope early in the year. The new solicitation will outline new or updated opportunities and potentially different funding amounts, but this graphic gives you an idea of the way NSF ATE typically funds grants that they award. The ATE projects track, well, let me start with the one on red on the left. The opportunity in red will be of particular interest to you if your institution has not received an ATE award in the past 7 years or ever. The small grants track always has the highest funding rate. It is very welcoming on-ramp for those who are new to ATE. It is definitely the place to start if you are new to the program. Track 2 is projects. And ATE projects track is the one that receives the greatest number of proposals each year. The track is open to all prospective grantees. Consortia and ATE center tracks are designed for those with a track record of success in the ATE program. Resource center funding is only open to those who have first been funded as an ATE center. The applied research track is designed for principal investigators who have impressive credentials for conducting applied research that is relevant to the ATE program. The new to ATE opportunity allows projects to focus on any area that ATE supports. These projects, which will be smaller in scale than most other projects ATE funds, provides an excellent opportunity to become familiar with NSF and the ATE program while initiating work that you can build on for subsequent larger grants in the same or different discipline, or perhaps with a new focus. Some of the project options that ATE can fund are listed on this slide. This list works for projects Track 2 or the small new to ATE Track 1. Projects can have a single focus or may incorporate multiple ideas for the advancement of technician education, and it's not strictly limited to what's on this list. Creativity is encouraged. So I'll stop at this point and see if there are any questions about this point, what I've said so far about the NSF as a funding agency, an option for colleges, or the kind of broadly about ATE.
And you can either ask your question, just unmute and ask the question, or you can put them in the chat if you want, and I might be able to answer them there, or we'll ask them for you.
Will you go back to the previous slide, please?
And John, this is going to be available to people afterwards for a video also, right?
Yep, this is being recorded and we'll update that to the CTI repository afterwards for viewing.
It will take probably half a day, but we will get it up there.
You're promising it faster than we do. We say allow 3 days. Okay. Did you have a question on this, Ashley, or just getting information?
Just getting information. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
So I had a question with regard to, I think you had started out, I apologize for joining a little bit late, but this is focused on two-year colleges, and then four-year colleges can be, can participate as a collaborative partner. Is that, did I get that right?
That's correct. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the next portion of the program. We don't want to discourage four-year colleges and universities or secondary education individuals and organizations from applying to the ATE program. It's just that for the ATE program, the focus has got to be on the two-year technician education and how these other educational entities support the production of this highly skilled workforce that is greater than high school and often less than 4 year, which is, you know, a huge component of the advanced technical workforce.
Okay, thank you for that. I think I was a little, maybe a little bit confused on that, because we have, as many four-year colleges have two-year programs within the four-year college, as well as certificate programs that are focused on the practical applications of
Right. And if your project is focused on that two-year program that students go directly into the workforce, then you are within the wheelhouse of ATE.
I see. Thank you very much.
And we have a question in the chat that I'm going to somewhat say, the person wants to know who they would contact to explore a few ideas, or they are a two-year college with a small UAS program that they would like to expand. And I'm really going to answer, both Elaine and John could help and answer questions about it, correct?
Absolutely. I'm sure that NCAT has seen a lot of projects being developed around that. The big thing with ATE is that they do not want you to reinvent the wheel. A piece of advice that I'm sure John would give you, and I will as well, is that what you need to do is connect with people that have programs similar to what it is that you want to start, and see what you could adapt and implement from the work that they've done, or leverage the work that's gone before you. it's never a good idea to come in and say, I want to develop a UAS program because one has never been developed before. Well, maybe it hasn't at your institution, but it has elsewhere. And that proposal probably wouldn't review well because they expect you to have done your homework and checked on some of these other programs and taken advantage of the work that ATE has previously funded.
Yeah, and I think one thing I'd add to that is making sure to reach out to Zach Nicklin, as he's the UAS aviation and aerospace lead for NCAT. I'll pop my email in the chat as well, but reach out to both of us because that's really the role of the center, is that collaborative function and both supporting individual projects and your goals and initiatives, as well as thinking about the framework that enables individuals to really contribute to the broader body of knowledge. So we've got different things as we look at the curriculum development project and key initiatives that we're focused on, working with organizations like CAST, focused on accessibility, ADA compliance, and really looking at accessibility of content, content and curriculum, and infusing that with universal design for learning. So kind of standardizing the types of resources and understanding your goals and initiatives and how those can contribute to some of the gaps that have been identified and buckets that really need to be filled for the community, and then creating mechanisms to really bring that work together. We've got the repository on the NCAT website currently that has a wide range of curricular resources. And we're currently working on alignment of those and really building the contributors to those. So reach out to Zach and myself. Love to get you connected there and have some deeper discussions as far as what your key focus areas are and how that can contribute to the broader body of knowledge for the community.
And for ATE, you want to tie it to what the job market is in your area. That's key. And that's why projects will be different from location to location, because they really need to be driven by what the employers in the area are looking for.
And I was going to say, Mike Davis has asked a few questions that I think might be more specific of addressing after the webinar by sending an email to either Elaine or John. If you also want to include Zach's email in here. And for people who have asked, yes, the recording will be made available afterwards. I'm assuming everyone who signed up for the webinar would get an email once the recording becomes available, Elena?
Yes, I believe so. John?
I think Diana usually sends an email.
Okay.
Perfect.
The people who often do it are unfortunately out sick today, so we're kind of thinking things will happen. If you don't get one, send an email to where you registered or to Elaine or John or myself, and we can find the link for you. And I think it goes really nicely from the questions so far, Elaine, of what does make an NSF ATE grant. So I'm going to let you continue with the next slide.
Jump in there just one moment, please. So Elaine had talked about how, the grants are really looking at what kind of jobs students will be able to get after they graduate from the programs. And so for those of you in the UAS CTI, you probably already know this. For those of you who aren't part of the program yet, the program, we have actually worked with the Department of Labor and to modify 5 existing job codes to include UAS operations and professionals. We are also working on, and Wing Chung can actually tell you a little bit more about this, we are working on updating the job codes when those are updated with the Department of Labor, and that is in 2028 to include specific professions involving UAS. So if you don't know where to look for those, please reach out. We can get that information to you. Sorry, that's all I want.
That's good. It's, this is the purpose, is to let people know resources available. So Elaine, I'm going to take it to the next slide.
Okay, so before I get into the Mentor Connect opportunity, I want to clarify that when we talk about eligibility, we're really talking about 2 types of eligibility. eligibility to submit proposals to the NSF ATE program, and eligibility to receive one-on-one assistance from Mentor Connect. The ATE program accepts proposals according to the guidelines provided in the NSF Proposal and Award Policies and Procedures Guide, which we know as the PAPPG. As you can see on the left, ATE accepts proposals from many types of institutions and organizations, and ATE accepts proposals from many types of entities. On the other hand, since the purpose of Mentor Connect is to build grant development and implementation capacity at two-year colleges, Mentor Connect eligibility is more restrictive. We work exclusively with two-year colleges who will be the grant recipients and their partners. So if you find that you aren't eligible for the one-on-one assistance that Mentor Connect offers, you can still use many Mentor Connect and NSF resources to prepare and submit an ATE proposal, and you are encouraged to do so. What Mentor Connect does is teach teams from two-year colleges to prepare competitive ATE grant proposals. These proposals most often result in ATE grant awards. As a result, colleges are better able to advance technician education programs, and faculty who engage in this work grow as leaders throughout the process. So Mentor Connect was initially funded in 2012. Since then, Mentor Connect has worked with 11 cohorts of prospective grantees from 42 states and 2 U.S. territories. We have now worked with 234 college teams comprised of 437 faculty and 263 grant professionals and administrators. As you can see on this slide, 86% of the teams we have worked with have submitted ATE proposals. Of those, 72% from cohorts 1 through 10 have received NSF grant awards. To put this funding rate in perspective, the overall funding rate at NSF is only 26%. Mentor Connect helps prospective grantees pursue ATE funding by offering the following services: technical assistance webinars, where essentially we teach you how to fill out all of the forms and the components that are associated and required for these proposals, a quick reference guides, a help desk for quick and just-in-time answers that is staffed by a real person, an online repository, which is like a library, assistance navigating the NSF funding process. Once your proposal gets recommended for funding, there's still many hoops you have to jump through, and it can be very daunting. So we help people through that funding process. We then help people with startup and project implementation advice, leadership development, mentoring, and workshops. The asterisk on the last bullet clarifies that only those who submit an application and become Mentor Connect participants receive one-on-one mentoring and financial support, which includes travel to attend 2 in-person workshops. Other Mentor Connect resources are available to anyone pursuing ATE funding, and it's all free. While it is possible to independently access information and instruction that will improve your ability to prepare a proposal for the ATE program, there are good reasons for becoming a Mentor Connect participant so that you can benefit from all of the services we offer. As a participant, you are assigned an experienced ATE grant mentor who will work one-on-one with your team throughout the grant preparation cycle. You become part of a community with others who are seeking ATE funding, most often for the first time. Resources are selected. Anything about that, John? Okay, a button must have gotten pushed. So we select the resources and provide them to you as you need them, sort of just in time over the grant development cycle. NSF expectations are translated so that you understand them, and you receive financial support to participate. Mentor Connect partners with NCAT, the ATE-funded National Center for Autonomous Technologies, to help ensure that prospective ATE grantees who are working with UAS or other autonomous technologies get discipline-specific support as they learn grant writing skills from Mentor Connect. We call this collaboration co-mentoring. If you are working with Mentor Connect, NCAT will ensure that you also have a mentor from the center to help you with such things as curriculum, training modules, equipment advice, industry connections, and NCAT-specific networking and resources. Also, NCAT engages key personnel from the center in Mentor Connect activities through a Mentor Fellows program as a way to increase the center's mentoring capabilities. And it works the other way too. If we get a team who comes to Mentor Connect and wants to work in autonomous technologies that's not yet connected with NCAT, then we proactively work to make those connections so that they can benefit from both. If you haven't been an ATE grantee, I thought it would be helpful for you to talk with someone who has benefited from this funding. I asked 2 of your colleagues to join us today to talk about their experience with ATE grants, specifically those that have supported their UAS programs. I'm delighted to introduce Mandy Briggs, Assistant Chief Flight Instructor, Institute of Aviation at Parkland College in Champaign, Illinois, and Wing Chung, Professor of Geography and GIS at Palomar College, San Marcos, California. Mandy's ATE project was awarded in 2018. She got caught by the COVID shutdown, but still managed to do amazing things with her project entitled Unmanned Aerial Systems Technology Curriculum to Meet Industry Demand. Mandy, thank you for joining us today. Will you briefly describe a few of the impacts of your program and of your students that were made possible by this ATE grant funding?
Sure. Thanks for allowing me to talk about this. I'd like to start by saying it has been a wonderful opportunity both for our school and our students as well. The ATE grant funding that we received allowed us not only to create the current program that we have, but I really feel like it allowed us to be very intentional in how we designed our program. Part of our grant application included the opportunity to visit with other schools that had also received NSF funding. And so we were able to take a look at how they designed their programs and figure out what worked well and what wouldn't work for our program. So like Elaine mentioned before, we weren't having to reinvent the wheel. We were able to very strategically look at other programs to see what would be a good fit for us. We're in the heart of the Midwest, so agriculture was a natural fit for us, and that's kind of where our program has focused on. The other really neat thing for our students is we're at the point now, our program has been up and running. We're now in our 5th year, and we're really starting to see that full circle effect. We have numerous alumni of our program that are now out in the industry working, and they're serving on our advisory board now. And so they're telling us, people that have been through our program are giving us the feedback of what we're doing well, and it's always changing, and how we need to change with the times as well. So really, without the grant, we would not have been able to start our program and have the quality of the program that we do now.
Thank you, Mandy. I'll get back to you in a minute, but now let's look at Wing's ATE grants. Wing has been involved with ATE for many years. Over time, his grant work has shifted from GIS-focused projects to UAS projects. The grant on this slide, Unmanned Aircraft Operations Technician Education Program, was awarded to Palomar College in 2017, with Wing as the PI. Wing is currently co-PI on another UAS-focused project that was awarded in 2022 to Southwestern College in Chula Vista, California. This project is taking the work he did initially to a new level and to new audiences. And he's leveraged a partnership with Ken Yanow at Southwestern that began around their shared interest of GIS. Wing, will you briefly describe some of the impacts of your program and on your students that have been made possible by ATE funding?
Sure. Thank you for having me. Yeah, so similar to what Mandy mentioned, the ATE program also allowed us to expand our drone program at Palomar College in San Diego to an associate's degree, and also to replicate that program at Southwestern College, and also to create partnerships that are ongoing at local high schools in the form of concurrent enrollment classes. In addition to that, it also increased the exposure of our program in the community, and eventually we were recruited to be part of the FAA's integration pilot program with the city of San Diego. And that led to the development of a lot of industry partnerships, such as internships for students, and also continued guidance on curriculum development and updates. And also it led to collaboration with other ATE centers and projects like the Geotech Center, where we came up with a DACOM to identify the skills and competencies that are needed by operations technicians in the UAS field. And in this current project that Elaine just mentioned, it allowed us to have the bandwidth and resources to work with FAA UAS CTI schools on this job classification project, where we're trying to update or prepare public comment with industry input to create a job code for UAS occupations. And it also allows us to expand educational opportunities in the freely associated states like Palau in the form of drone summer camp for high school students.
Oh, that's excellent, Wing. We won't mislead you about these proposals. They are complex. The National Science Foundation is a prestigious organization. And as I've mentioned, the merit review criteria, the proposals that they fund have been determined to be meritorious, that they don't just give out the money. You have to work for it. And so one big question is, was the effort worth it? It does take some time and some effort to put these proposals together. Faculty do need to be involved. You can't just expect your grant office to put your ATE proposal in and it be funded. That does not work with the ATE program. The reviewers are peers. They are faculty very often in the discipline of the project that's been submitted, just like you. And so they know what's real and what's not. They know what probably came from faculty and what was manufactured language from a grant writer. They have a real sixth sense about that sort of thing. And so you do need to be really involved in conceptualizing these grants and helping making sure that they are going to do what you want them to do. So I'm going to go back to Mandy and say, was it worth it? Because you really went the extra mile for your project, not only just in getting it funded, but struggling through the COVID shutdown and all to implement it.
When you're in the heat of the moment, it seemed overwhelming at times, but having gone through the process, especially the initial application, I understand more looking back why some of those things had to be in there, because it really did provide the framework for my project to be successful. Had I kind of created my own path, I don't think it would have worked out as well as it did. So I am a believer that while it was work, the process was definitely worth it. Once you're in the project itself, I found NSF to be very accommodating in that after I did my initial proposal, the program that I thought I wanted to create was not actually what I really felt like our program needed to be. And so going through the proper channels, I was kind of able to pivot to what our program looks like today. So there is flexibility within the grant program, and I definitely appreciated that for my project as well. You have to do some annual reports. And I felt like those are actually there to help keep your project on track. So I didn't really feel like it was busy work. I really felt like it pointed me in the right direction to keep my project moving in the right direction. So I'm not going to lie. I can't tell you that it's not a lot of work, but I can tell you that the payoff was extremely beneficial for our college. And I would highly recommend it. One of the things that I do like about the NSF program is they are willing to fund multiple projects. And so our college has been fortunate enough to kind of use each grant that we have received as a building block to kind of improve and advance our program. So that the work is definitely worth the end product that we've gotten.
Thank you, Mandy. I'm going to come back to you now, Wing, and ask sort of the same question about whether it was worth it. I think the answer to this question is pretty obvious by the number of ATE grants that you've received over the years. But based on your experience, what words of encouragement do you have for someone thinking about pursuing ATE funding?
Yeah, thanks, Elaine. Yes, definitely worth it. And as I mentioned in my introduction, a lot of partnerships were built as a result of this ATE grant. Like I would have never met Elaine or Mandy or know anything about Mandy's project if it wasn't for the ATE grant. And a lot of these partnerships are ongoing with the high schools, with other colleges. So for example, when now someone tell me that they're interested in working with drones for agricultural purposes, I can refer them to Mandy's school because I know that's what her school's program focus is on. And in addition to that, it also, like Mandy said, even though you put the concept of your grant in your proposal, NSF does give you the latitude to make some changes, right, due to unexpected circumstances like COVID, for example. And as a result of that, that allow us to innovate. For example, by shifting our drone summer camp from being a service learning field-based summer camp, we were able to shift to the virtual model, which we're continuing to replicate here in our current grant project, and that allow us to do these virtual high school summer camp in the Pacific Islands and offer these kind of opportunities to students 4,000 miles away that would have never received such an opportunity. So really widen that broader impact. And yeah, it is so much work, especially if you work in a two-year college that does not have a grants office. But that is why Mentor Connect is there. That is why it is so important to build that partnership and this community and learn from other schools and other grantees.
Oh, thank you, Wing. And we've got a question for you and Mandy, but we'll hold that for our question break in just a second. I want to make sure that we get through all the slides and then we'll do some more questions. So let's move on to a few tips for success. The first thing I would say is dream big. I want you know, if you suddenly had a windfall of money for your program, what would you do? How would you improve it? Faculty are not accustomed to really having very impressive budgets for their programs, to put it mildly. And to have money that you can do things that you've only dreamed about is just such a gift. And so think big and dream big. And even if you can't get it all done with your first project, as you've heard, you can get a second project, you can partner with other people, you can grow in these efforts and eventually achieve those dreams. Next, you want to make sure that you pick the right funding track. Remember that the objective is to get a grant award. The odds of funding will improve if you don't pursue the largest possible awards before you have the AT experience to be competitive in the specialty tracks. We hear all the time that, that institutions are trying to push their faculty or grants offices to go for the biggest dollars they can get from funding programs. But that strategy is really not the best long-term strategy for the NSF program. You really want to get your foot in the door and establish a reputation with them. And then that will help you with your continued success, as Wing's history indicates, as John's history indicates, and as what's happened with the grants that I've been involved with ATE. You want to stack the odds even more in your favor by getting help. Mentor Connect is here to help you be successul. If you qualify for our highest level of help, the one-on-one mentoring and so forth, that is the best, and that will do the most to help ensure that you get the grant funding. But even if you aren't eligible for our one-on-one help, we've got a lot of resources. Our technical assistance webinars, for instance, are open to everyone, and they can really help you do things right. NSF changes a lot, And one of the things that we do is to stay up to date with the new requirements. And this year, we're going to have a lot of changes. So it's going to be very important if you're looking at proposals for October 2024 that you know and understand the changes that are coming down the pike for us from the coming year. And finally, start early. Mentor Connect starts prospective grantees working on proposals at least 9 months before the due date. Community college faculty don't have much time. Starting early accommodates those of you who are probably already overloaded, but really want to make a difference. And so that you can, the old adage, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Well, that's what our long runway allows, is to eat that elephant one bite at a time to get your proposal ready. So now, how do you apply? There's an application package on the Mentor Connect website. It is mentor-connect.org. Just click on Get a Mentor. Our deadline is November the 10th. We will be accepting teams and participants for working in 2024 for submission of proposals in October 2024. If you have any questions about filling out the application, this is not a secretive process. We really want to help you. You can call, you can run your grant idea by us. You can ask any questions that you'd like to ask, because we want your success is really what we are here for. So that's what we want you to do, is to reach out and let us help you. On Wednesday of next week, September 27th, from 2 to 3:30 Eastern, Dr. Celeste Carter, the lead program officer for the ATE program, you'll remember I introduced her at the beginning of this program, will be joining the Mentor Connect webinar to provide more information about ATE funding. Members of the Mentor Connect team will provide more details about Mentor Connect opportunity, the activities that you'll be involved in, all of the details about being a participant. And more than I could cover in today's presentation. This webinar is free, but you do need to register to get a link to join it. To register, go to mentor-connect.org, and the webinar is announced on the homepage banner with a link to register. So I hope many of you will take advantage of that to learn more. Bring some people from your college who may be interested in pursuing ATE funding. We don't limit the number of teams from a college or anything. So, you can spread this out with others at your institution. So now, Pam, let's get some of those questions before we close out today.
Okay, and I did want to let people know that I did put information about the Mentor Connect link, or also Emery DeWitt's email address. So if you need help registering for the webinar, or I also have put Elaine's email in there, but definitely let us know. And someone is asking, they have a class at the time will be recorded next week's webinar. And yes, register for it. And then if you're unable to attend, you will get the link for the webinar. So it is important that you register for the webinar. And both for Mandy and Wing, how many students do you have in your program now from the grant? Was your goal to increase the number of students or change your program? So do you have enrollment for your programs? How is it? And Mandy, I see you above on my screen, so I'll let you answer first.
Sure. Well, we started our program from scratch back in 2018, and now we have probably about 75 students going through our program annually.
And Wing?
Yeah, since we don't have a formal admissions process to the program, it's hard to keep track of how many students are going through the program or just taking classes on a standalone basis. But based on how many students are enrolled in our capstone classes, or the gatekeeping classes, I would say about 50 students per year.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Other questions? As people are thinking of questions, I'm going to bring up the next slide, which does have all the contact information for Mentor Connect. So if you need to reach us, I'll have to say, if you do the email to either mentor-connect@fdtc edu or send an email to Emery DeWitt. She will make sure the email gets to the right place. We also do have a person answering the telephone, but I don't know, in my office, because of COVID, I get maybe one telephone call a year, it seems. Telephone calls have definitely gone down, but feel free to call that way also if you want. John, do you have any comments or questions, or Elaine?
Yeah, so just thinking from the audience perspective of what this process looks like. I saw the application deadline for this year is November 10th.
That's correct.
What's the process to get that in? Is that a super intense process to file an application?
No, it really
Accepted
isn't,
the
John.
Mentor
We
Connect?
we ask about the fund. Well, first of all, we work with teams, and this is some of the detailed stuff we'll get into next week. But I'm glad you brought it up. Our data, because we, like you said, we've been at this since 2012, and what we've discovered that if the grant development team consists of the 2 STEM faculty who are going to be working on this project and a grants professional or someone that is going to, spearhead that activity at the college, and an administrator who cares about this program, this area, these faculty. The team is more likely to put a proposal in, and that proposal is more likely to be funded. For that reason, we actually fund teams of 4 to participate. And these grants professionals and administrators can sit in on the mentoring sessions with the mentor, come to the workshops, and every person on the team has a role, and it all converges to create very competitive grant proposals. So that's part of the way we go about this. So the application reflects that. So we ask for information, obviously, about the institution, about the 2 faculty members, about the extra team members. And, we often have people swap people out. So you just, if you say you put a grants professional that's with your college now, but you know that person's leaving and you're going to get a new one, just put that one in for now, because then you can substitute the new person when the time comes. And we're very flexible about accommodating shifts in the team like that. We will ask for your grant idea. It's just a short, I think maybe 500 words or something like that, about what it is that you would like to do. And when we review your grant idea, we have a new process that we call pre-mentoring interventions. So if your application grant idea looks like it might be coloring slightly outside the lines for ATE, then we will contact you and talk to you about how you can tighten that grant idea and get it more completely within the lines of what ATE can fund. There are a lot of great ideas out there.
That really gets
one of the things
hit
the sweet spot of what ATE will fund, and we have we know what that is, so we can help you take something away or add something to your idea that will make it a really good fit for the ATE program. And then we ask for a commitment from the college. We really want the college, first of all, to know this application is coming in, and second of all, to have the intent to put a proposal in next October.
And since you went through the process, John, first of all, we now do fund to the administrator and the grant professional to attend the workshops. And we've worked at making the application shorter, but we do have to ask everyone's names, what their roles are at the college and things, but we have definitely made it shorter probably than you might even remember of having completed for your application.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at, the bulk of that 500 words. So that's roughly a page, getting my ideas to paper and making sure I've got buy-in from the administration. They're tracking on this idea, but that sounds like something, if I've got some good ideas right now, that I could probably generate this afternoon to submit that application to Mentor Connect to get the process.
And it doesn't have to be, I mean, I'm not 100% sure it's 500 words, but it's you just need to convey your idea. And we actually give you some pointers about things that need to be in there, like things I've pointed out today, that you've got to have this, you've got to be addressing a workforce need, an issue in your program, something that you want to improve, something you want to make better. So we give you a little bit of guidance in terms of the kinds of things that we're looking for, or that ATE, it's not us, it's ATE. We're trying to put you in the sweet spot so that you can get funded.
I've got one other question, but I'm going to I'm gonna let the audience, if there's anything else out there.
Kathy
let
asked a
others ask.
question that I know comes up, Elaine, is how do you know if your institution has had an ATE grant or not?
You can go into the NSF awards database, but honestly, if you just want to call us, we'll check it for you. We check every application we get because we want to make sure we got people in the right funding track. So every single one we check, and we've spent so much time in that NSF awards database that we can do it very quickly.
And
but you can search on current and expired awards at nsf.gov. But they've changed their website, and it's not quite as easy, not quite as intuitive about how you get to that awards database as it once was.
And John, as you're asking or making your comment, I'm going to put up the poll because I notice some people are dropping off, so we can continue talking. One of the things you'll see when you get an ATE grant, notice I said when, not if, is evaluation is important. There's more than just did you offer the item? So Mentor Connect has a short poll of 4 questions that we ask that you answer now and submit. As you log off from the webinar, you're going to be linked to a poll for the UA autonomous part. So please answer both of the polls. Just saying we hosted a webinar isn't enough. We want to know the results of it. So John, I'll let you go ahead while I start the poll. And there's 4 questions. Scroll down and submit.
I'm thinking that application process sounds easy enough if there's some good ideas floating. What does that look like once I submit the application on November 11th? What does that look like for the next steps? You said you get assigned a one-on-one mentor.
Yeah, we will let you know. We will let you know within a week.
Okay.
If your application if we can accept you into our cohort, and we try to accept everybody that we can. We're funded. We work typically with 24 teams a year, but if we need to increase our cohort to accommodate a good prospective grantee, we will do that. If we need to contact you to tighten up your grant idea, we will do that. And then we start with a virtual kickoff in December, which will be a Zoom session. And then our winter workshop is like January the 31st to February 2nd or 3rd or something like that. It'll be in New Orleans. It'll be in New Orleans, Louisiana. We can track some people to come because we're going to have our workshop in a cool place.
Or a warm place, as the case may be.
So that's kind of how it starts. And then between the kickoff and the winter workshop, you are contacted by your mentor and you get started working with them and get to know them. And then you set up meetings with them throughout the grant development process. And they sort of hold you accountable and keep you on track and provide resources in a just-in-time fashion until you get your proposal submitted. And mostly they're cheerleaders for you. They know it's tough. They're there to answer questions, to encourage you, and help you get down the road and get the pieces put together and get that proposal in.
That sounds good. I see we're coming up to the top of the hour, so cutting a little short here, but we've got the emails in the chat, so we'll make sure to get those individuals onto the resources and opportunities distribution list for Mentor Connect and other resources through NCAT. I want to thank Elaine, Pam, Mandy, and Wing for the presentation today. Big takeaways from Elaine: dream big on how you can really be a change agent in technician education. Absolutely. Mandy talking about the use grants. You want to be investigating what's out there before your grant goes in, but part of that grant can be an opportunity to go sync up with schools and industry partners to understand the workforce needs. Wing shaping and growing programs, been tremendous to see the subsequent projects, which is a part of that process, being able to stack and grow those NSF resources and build those industry partnerships and other relationships that contribute to that feedback loop. And one of the things Wing pointed out, it's a grant, not a contract. That is something that Celeste will emphasize, that NSF recognizes the shifts and changes in personnel and just the landscape of your individual areas. So there's a lot of flexibility as long as you're staying aligned to the initial intent, to be able to flex funding and to be able to flex activities left or right based on that. So a lot of great information today. Mentor Connect's been a huge resource for Northland Community and Technical College and the National Center for Autonomous Technology. That again, great opportunity. Appreciate everyone plugging in today. I know we're right at noon. Alina, if you've got any closing remarks.
Thanks so much, John. I just want to thank everybody who was here today and had a chance to listen to this really, really wonderful presentation. And so thank you so much, Elaine and everybody on your team here, Pamela. This has been really fantastic. And I hope that for all the schools that are here, I hope you take advantage of all of the resources that have been provided today. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you all.
That'll conclude the formal parts. We'll leave the line open here for just a couple minutes. If there's other questions, I'll stay on the line here.